What's up? Hello. This is Mikey Bizan. Try to flip this. Oh, that didn't work. Try to flip this again. Well, it's upside down, but this is a little cat thing I was working on. Try to get a decent flip in. It's kind of just waving its booty, flying around in the sky. Just imagine this upside down. Just flip it in your brain. I just started kind of roughing this out. And normally I just draw on physical, or rather digital stuff, but I've been kind of going through my flip books and old drawings I've done, kind of getting the itch to draw on paper again. There's something nice about the texture. It's kind of calming, whereas when you're drawing on a tablet or on your Wacom tablet, the plastic, it feels different. It doesn't have the same, doesn't make the same sound as paper. But I've been thinking like VJ Loop stuff, some old ones. Never animated this yet, but this is an idea of a like this blue thing would swirl around, rotating around, and then the colors above it would be rolling over. A little hard to explain, but this blue part would be going in a rotation around it, and some other ones in here. But I normally don't plan out my animations on paper. I did this when I was on a trip. And this is another goopy idea for an animation cycle. This one will be shooting out little jello-y things. And then this one would be like pulsating, and these little parts that break off would dissolve and dissipate. And the yellows would be cell shaded. This one actually did animate, but I changed it when I did it digitally. These are kind of like keyframes. So like this would be a frame, then it'd go into here, then here, then here. These arrows illustrate the direction it'd be going. So you can just imagine one of these things going all around, and as it does, it'll be changing color. So it starts out red, turns purple, and all the colors just kind of shifting around. And this one is a seaweed loop idea. I'll wave at some people. Thanks for dropping by. And then, well, this one's not really done. Just like nothing. Another animation idea. These things flying around in a cycle. Hi, thank you, Garcia. Just showing some concepts for animation VJ loops. And this one is a little more parts to it, a little more sections. Have it numbered off. It's like each one of these numbers is a different keyframe. Swirl around, then turn into a teardrop. Then this yellow part would bulge out, and then the yellow would shoot out, and then the teardrop would turn like this, and then the yellow part would break apart into all these individual smaller parts, and then the blue part would turn into this little shape and then go back into here. So that's a whole cycle. And yep. Then this one's like a lava rose. Be like a swirling lava type thing. Just be spinning around. I think those are the main things in here in terms of VJ loops. Rest is kind of just cringy attempts at life drawing that didn't go so well. This was like an idea for a animated sequence of characters, or a comic book idea, not sure which. It's kind of incomprehensible, but it's these characters that are on this roller coaster, and they're kind of like a battle. This guy's riding this kind of trumpet thing, and then this bad guy on another roller coaster shoots out a bomb at them, and it heads towards him. He cuts in half. The bomb falls towards this lady's hair. It blows up, and then she's bald, and then her boyfriend is all nervous because he dodged out of the way and she got hit. And this is too incomprehensible to talk about, but show another. Well, this part of the sequence might show up better because I have a bigger drawing on here. Kind of show the idea of a character. What he's riding is like this flying platform that has trumpets that shoot out steam or something, or air. I'm not sure. It's kind of a ramshackle design, I guess. And then I was some study of cartoon hands, like rubber hose style. Just the gloves you'd see. Just practicing this kind of stuff. Rubber hose hands. You can see looking at it now. This. So, never mind. More hand designs. There's one other drawing in here, and this is like a rough idea of a city type area. Very rough, but it's like all these buildings with these arrows pointing up. It's a city that never stops rising, so they're just adding stuff on top of it. Yep. And today, I was drawing this kind of trippy skull that has like eyeballs and plant material coming around it. Kind of underwater type vibe. I like to draw underwater stuff because you can ignore gravity, have things more floaty. Especially with animating loops, I kind of like that type of thing. It has a dreamlike quality, maybe a nightmare-like quality. If you're ever trying to run in a dream, it sometimes feels like you're underwater. Sometimes that is what it feels like in conversation. You're underwater. Things are coming out slowly. Your body's not doing what you tell it to precisely. I was drawing this today. Not sure how much more I'm going to work on it, or what else I should add. Maybe some kind of color for the background, or I'm not sure. But if I scan it digitally, then I might add a gradient for the background and then color the skull like purple or something, and then make the eyes kind of like orange. So like have oranges and purple all around this. But I'd only do that if I color it digitally, because this isn't on paper that can really handle Copic markers. Could color with Prismacolor markers, but again, I don't really want to ruin it with colors. Like, I just want to have a black and white physical copy. If I want to color, I can do all that digitally, because it's much easier to edit and tweak colors digitally than it is physically on paper. So, again, I'm not sure how much more I'm going to add to this, but I feel like I might need some more black areas. I have some other kind of design ideas in this sketchbook. This one was kind of inspired by Howl's Moving Castle. Like the concept of a castle that's like alive or something, and like some steam coming out, little kind of steampunky, cyberpunky pipes. This amalgamation of this tapestry of technological weirdness. I'm not sure. And then here got this like trash bag of flower petals. I was like looking at my trash bag, kind of at the outline of it, and imagining it being made out of flower petals. So that's what that is. And this is like an eyeball. I'm not sure. Just like shooting out stuff or something. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to articulate surreal visuals into words. It's a little box, like some kind of energy life force inside. A square that became sentient. And all these little boxes being magnetized, drawn to it. This is just a shape, not very finished or anything, but like, I was thinking like a really weird nose. It's like a nose, and then I'm not sure. Some more boxes, kind of cubism inspired. Just drawn with ballpoint pen. And I guess I started drawing out like a drop, but then I imagined the water drop kind of exploding into boxes. You can just imagine this in motion. Boom! Explodes into boxes. And just doing overlapping to make it a little more depth, and contrasting big boxes with medium ones next to small ones. It's a good way to get some depth if you don't have a background to show perspective. Have overlap and then contrast between small, medium, and big shapes. This is like the side view of a really weird character's face. There's his eyeball. I guess it's like a whale or something. What's up, Armen Doc DC Dev? Hi, cool drawings. Can I ask you a question related to animation? Certainly. I'll do my best to answer it. Sometimes my brain's a little bit glitchy when I answer things on the spot, but I'll try to dedicate some RAM to processing. This is just like a tall box with a bunch of bubbles in the background. like a skyscraper or something. And this one is lightning and clouds. Take a little sip of my tea. Ah, that's good. Well, yeah, this is like a lightning strike. Maybe it goes this way. I think I was thinking of drawing these clouds panning and then background going slower, so the foreground clouds would be panning faster, and then this lightning strike would be like a sound wave going like this, like you see on those those music reactive sound visualizers that go to a song. It'd be a lightning bolt doing it. I am divided in my mind. I need to animate a character for a video game I'm doing. Ooh, that's cool. I would love to work on a game someday. I did some special effects for Void Pets. It's a mobile game. It's really cool. You should check that out. But yeah, games are so creative. But yeah, feel free to, any questions or, you know, if you need a second pair of eyes to look at something, you can shoot me a DM. Sometimes I'm bad at answering messages, but I'm trying to get better. If I need smoothness and also a customizable character, is it possible to use traditional animation and rigging at the same time? If I need smoothness and also a customizable character, is it possible to use traditional animation and rigging at the same time? Whoa. So, okay, I don't do character rigs, but I don't see why you couldn't combine the two. Like, for instance, say that the body is on a rig and you animate that pose to pose with your rigging, but maybe the hair might be something that you'd want to animate traditionally frame by frame, because it might be harder to get a natural look rigging it. So like you could definitely do a hybrid style. I've seen that a lot actually, like CG and frame by frame hand drawn. You know, even like when I say traditional animation, that could be interpreted as like super traditional on paper or cells, but I think in today's age it's generally understood traditional animation means hand drawn frame by frame, even if those frames are being hand drawn digitally on a tablet, because the working method is more or less the same. But I would suggest doing a test on something simple, like with your customized character. Just do something super simple, maybe just a head turn, and see how that process would work, and then iterate, and then apply that to, you know, if you have a successful test, then you can apply it to bigger parts of the project. This is another. Hope that helped. Don't know all the ins and outs of your project, but maybe something in there will spark an idea. Then this is a tower. It's it's an endless tower being built. This concept I have of a tower. I guess it's sort of inspired by the idea of the Tower of Babel. But the idea I have for a film idea is this tower that's being built by these bird people, and this tower never stops getting built. It's never done being worked on, but it's also always falling apart at the same time. So it's in a constant state of growth and decay. So there's parts on it that are being ramshackled, pasted back on, and things coming out of it. This kind of living entity that everyone's forced to work on. So it'd be kind of a dystopian world. and I want to have cool battle sequences and some like roller coasters coming off it that characters would have different kinds of vehicles they could ride on, maybe magnet powered vehicles where the roller coaster structures that go all over the place, they're magnetized, so you have your vehicles that are the opposing side of the magnet, so you'll like hover, and then they'll have some kind of propulsion behind them where they can navigate and move. I thought it'd be cool to animate something like that to get a lot of cool motion in. Really, it's kind of like, in a lot of ways, I do want to tell a story, but it's almost like the story is an excuse to make an animation. But I at least, I'm reading about script writing and reading stories and just trying and watching movies more critically, thinking a lot about the editing, the pacing, how they structure things, how they, maybe break away from traditional ideas like No Country for Old Men. I just watched that, and it's like deceiving because you think it's going to be a traditional Western story, but all your expectations they twist them, right? Like there's no epic showdown between the good guy and the bad guy. All the major characters pretty much die unceremoniously off screen, so it's really unsatisfying in that way. But then again, it's almost more satisfying because you think about it more and it feels more real because, well, it's also kind of the theme of the movie of randomness. Anyways. And then this is like an entity giant character kind of walking towards this world or suburby area. It's like smoking stuff. What's first, the story or the draw? Well, it could be either one. Sometimes they happen at the same time. Oftentimes drawing just the act of drawing, moving your hand around, will inspire new ideas. So it's a little bit of a hybrid than this one. Wait, did I just show this one? I think I started out showing this one because it's the most recent thing I drew on here. But yeah. And I might have stuff back here. It's like kind of cringy stuff. But these are some VJ loop ideas. Just drawn really small. I don't know if you can see it. This was for... Oh, okay. Yeah, like this is like a liquid pack idea. These are very small thumbnails and they probably don't make sense. But like these, it's just kind of how I was thinking of drawing some animation loops. I think I did animate this one already. These clouds that are coming into the screen in perspective. Some like lightning themed ones. So, but I normally don't draw on paper. Even when I'm doing concept stuff for the VJ loops, I'll just do it in my animation program. But like when I'm traveling, I'll typically draw on paper because like if I'm on a plane or something, I don't like to pull out my laptop. Boy. Yeah, so those are just a couple sketchbooks, and this one kind of has more loop ideas. These are very sketchy loop ideas. This is like a galaxy forming, spinning around, and then an idea for Saturn kind of wiggling around. It's just, sometimes I'll draw it on like scrap paper and tape it into here so I don't forget. This is just like a doodle I made on scrap paper while I was talking to someone on the phone, feeling extremely anxious. As you do on the phone. And this is just a concept of a scene, clouds, and some like cave type structures and giant seaweeds swirling around in Saturn. So this would just be like, it's really going slowly towards Saturn and everything else is coming towards you make this 3D kind of scene. And then some more loop ideas. I already animated these for a seaweed pack. It's not coming out for a while, but yeah, it's just like some different ideas for seaweed shapes to animate in a loop. And this one is kind of like going up and down, pulsing up and down. And then some more loop ideas. This is like these cosmic beings that are going to be walking in outer space, and then going in between their body is going to be solar systems and planets just swirling in between their bodies. And then this one is like this cosmic being with swirling colors and patterns, and his head's going to be leaking out stars that are going to be shooting out or something. I'm not really sure. And then, well, not much on this page, but this is just like first person perspective, a river coming towards the screen, and then these clouds that are kind of in the same shape as the river going over the head. And then this one is a loop of like if you were looking down at a bird's eye angle from the window, or maybe you're falling, I'm not sure, but these skyscrapers are going to be going really, really fast. So I guess it's more from the perspective of you flying downwards in a seamless, endless fall. And then this one, I'm just gonna shade in stuff so you can see it better. This is a road pack idea, like the paint on the road coming real fast, and then like a shot of the lights going by, then one of the city with the road, some more city shot with the buildings going by, and then this one's like the road swirling around like a coiled snake coming into the screen. Yeah, those are just ideas for road packs. And then some like alien eyeballs on here. Idea for alien eyes. Well, and this is another loop idea. Whole pack idea. I only have one picture on here so far though. This is like a gear city. Gears in the background, and then in the foreground there's more kind of pipes and stuff and steam shooting out. Like a bunch of layers. Have some blur in the background. And then this is a loop idea inspired by Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the special stage, where it's like a world with these checkered patterns coming towards you, and then stars in the background moving vertically. And then this is another idea in that same concept of like a world, these miniature worlds animated frame by frame, like you're flying through it. So just imagine the camera is in a helicopter or a drone or something. I'll animate it frame by frame of it coming towards the screen. And then this one would be like this silly clown and circus type things, balloons or something flying around. And then this one is kind of like inspired by F-Zero, I suppose. Like a hover car going through this sort of Blade Runner, Akira type background with a bunch of lights flying around. What would be the next step in your process after these thumbnail ideas? So I would do the thumbnails and then go into my program, draw it out bigger, and probably like polish up the designs, make sure the designs are going to work. And once the design is figured out, then it'd just be a matter of doing the keyframes and then putting all the in-between drawings. But it kind of also depends on the subject matter. Like if it's a full background thing, then probably work in the background first and then once the background's done, start thinking about any additional elements to add. If it's more like a special effects type thing, like goopy stuff, then I'd probably just draw a motion path that I know it's going to flow along, and then add in 2 keyframes, and then do straight ahead animation in between those 2 keyframes. So I find that pose to pose doesn't always translate so well for things that have a lot of flowing parts. So I'll do just like minimal pose to pose on that, and then do a lot of straight ahead, animating one aspect of it at a time. So like if it was just say like a whale, then I would just animate the shape of the whale, its body going along, and then add in its fin, and then add in its little hand flippers, do all that on its own separate path, or separate pass rather. So it kind of fluctuates from project to project, but in general, do the concept stuff, figure out a motion path, do the keyframes, the in-betweens, and then of course that's all the rough animation, and then I'd go in, we'd add in the cleanup, the coloring, and then any cell shading as the final step, if there's any shading. And then this is just a really simple concept. This is just like a sun, the sun, like it was really hot, and there's gaps in between it, and it would just be this whatever flowing. Just like imagine these sun shapes constantly going up and then dissipating. So actually got that from watching something yesterday. Can't remember what. Oh yeah, and then these are some alien faces. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the question, Salmonations. Ooh, cool username. These are some like alien eye ideas. Just different concepts for how you could do eyeballs for an alien creature. It's like that. I guess that's probably the most typical alien eyes. Like this. Kind of inspired by whatchamacallit, sea creatures. Any kind of alien stuff. You just look at the deep sea and you can get really good starting point, because the deep sea is so alien-like. Speaking of the deep sea, some more concept ideas for seaweed-themed loops. These are kind of rough, but this is like pulsating coral. Starts out small. Just imagine each one of these as a frame. Starts out as a single coral, then it blooms out like a blooming lotus flower and pulsates back in. Another kind of coral thing opening and shutting. And then some that's like kind of flowing around, waving around. Just some concepts. But and then this is well, this is pretty rough too. This is an idea for some loops of this kind of floating cities, like these floating cities that would float around, kind of alien-like. Maybe these lights are spinning around like a UFO, and this foreground one could be floating forward, and the background could be going slow in the opposite direction. But yeah. Ranara Vaxia says, do you like board games? Cosmic Encounters or Spirit Island are my favorites. Nice. I've never heard of those. I feel like I would like board games if I liked them, or if I played them. I don't have anyone to play them with, but let's see here. Board games. I don't have many experiences with board games, but I have liked them whenever I did play them. I like video games that are kind of like board games, and I like a lot of deck builder games, like what's it called? Monster Train. This is on the Switch. I have it on the Switch. Monster Train and Slay the Spire. Too addicting though. I have to take breaks from that kind of stuff. Yeah, I feel like that's like pretty much everything in there. But still working on this one. Again, I don't know how close I'm to being done, but if anyone has ideas, if you think it's close to being done, or if you think there should be something else in here, maybe the back. I thought about maybe just doing stippling in the background to make the skull mostly the only white part, but then I thought that might mess up the silhouette. It might make it too messy. So, I don't know. If this paper was thicker, I could probably... I don't know. It's whatever. But, yeah, and this is the other... my other favorite drawing in this sketchbook so far. And another thing I want to develop further. I want to make a series of this concept of these towers that are built out of kind of a similar theme. So like this one's all kind of ramshackle, dilapidated stuff, but I want to make another tower that say is like a cat themed tower that's built out of things cats like, or maybe a tower that's built all out of abandoned cars. So it's like all ramshackle, falling apart cars that are rising, or a tower that is maybe not man-made at all, but say it's like a tower that's grown naturally from like trees intertwining and twisting around with all these vines and like maybe all these creatures that live in it, like a whole ecosystem. Not sure, but I would like to explore the steam more and stuff like that. So yeah, guess that's all. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.